What's going on, y'all? Attorney Tom here. Big brain r/AttorneyTom react. Let's start.
Leave hypotheticals in the subreddit, guys, and I'll give an answer. Usually it's it depends.
Asking the important questions in this subreddit plus templates. Oh no, not legal advice. So if a toddler with a railgun. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, this is not good. Bad subreddit. I already know there's gonna be a lot of tomfoolery with these templates, but the animation's pretty cool. Hypothetically, if I was lured into a storm drain by a vertically challenged clown wearing diapers with a balloon after losing my paper boat, would I be justified in sliding into home base, so to speak, to escape if I was in objective and subjective grievous bodily harm? So again, it depends. If you were truly in objective and subjective fear of imminent grievous bodily harm, then yes, that is the definition of justified use of lethal force in self-defense. Question for Attorney Tom. Probably manslaughter. Okay.
The words of the 80-year-old homeowner who confronted two robbers.
I walked in on them, and they downed me. They jumped on me in the hallway.
But Tom Greer says he managed to get his .22 caliber Smith & Wesson revolver. He says when that unarmed couple saw his gun, they took off out the back door, and he followed.
The lady didn't run fast as a man, so I shot her in the back twice. She's dead, and they told her off, but he got away. She says, "Don't shoot me, I'm pregnant with a baby," and I shot her anyway.
Let's go through the analysis. Objective and subjective fear of imminent grievous bodily harm. Now, the classification of a threat can change rapidly. Obviously, these individuals were breaking into this guy's home and they jumped on him at that moment. Absolutely, I would think it's justified. Objective and subjective fear of imminent grievous bodily harm. However, then the man grabbed his weapon and they started running away. Running away enough to where the lady was even begging for her life as she is running away. At that point, you could certainly make the argument that there was no objective and subjective threat of imminent grievous bodily harm. The threat had passed at that point, and that is murder, even though they were robbing this guy's house. And even if, all you keyboard warriors out there, there's a castle doctrine. A castle doctrine, all that does is get rid of the duty to retreat. It doesn't mean you can kill anybody on your property. There needs to be an objective and subjective threat of imminent grievous bodily harm. As scary / sad / kind of funny with the editing as that video was, that's a great example of self-defense and what can go wrong and how it can very quickly turn to murder. Tom branching out to new content. Can you please work on my case? I'm dying and it's been weeks. Does pineapple belong on pizza? Couple things I want to address. First, this is hilarious. I have a whole bunch of new content coming, a segment called Judge Tom. It's going to be fun and educational, and we're going to go places, and I have some things being built right now for that. Second, unlike you heathens, I work during the day. I either film really early in the morning or really late at night, and then I be a lawyer man during the day. Right now, I'm filming on a Sunday, and then I'm probably going to my office. So realistically, probably every 1 minute I film making content, I work 20 to 30 minutes actually doing legal stuff. And speaking of questioning my career path as a lawyer versus content creator, today's video has a sponsor, Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of inspiring classes for creators. Explore new skills, deepen existing passions, and get lost in creativity. In all seriousness, since joining the Skillshare community, I've taken some classes that have really helped me. As many of y'all know, I'm a lawyer, and I consider that being really the only thing I'm good at. This whole content creation thing kind of started as a joke, and as you can tell by our very subpar content, that we are very much learning as we go. I recently completed MKBHD's class, which covered everything from how to think of creative content ideas to shooting your content to editing your content to posting your content. And I really hope that it's going to take my channel to the next level. And even if you're not interested in becoming a content creator, the Skillshare platform was curated for learning. So if you're interested in developing another professional skill such as writing or public speaking or time management, then give it a shot. The first 1,000 people to click on the Skillshare link below get 1 month of Skillshare Premium for free, meaning no ads, no interruptions, unlimited classes, so you can focus on learning a new skill. Give it a shot if you want. Moving on. Hypothetical about invoking the Fifth Amendment. We all know that if you are under arrest, you have the right not to incriminate yourself. What if you were arrested and said the following to the officer? Officer, I have 3 things to say to you. 1, I want my attorney. 2, I invoke the Fifth Amendment. Would the officer have any basis for obtaining further testimony because you alluded to do something, or can you invoke the Fifth at any time? Thanks. So in theory, you can invoke the Fifth at any time. So if you say, hey, officer, I have 3 things, and then you say, I invoke the Fifth Amendment, I want my lawyer, I'm not speaking to you. Well, in theory, you have the right just to shut up and not speak. But it's always going to depend. This may be a shocker, but the biggest flaw when invoking the Fifth Amendment is human error. Not just human error from the officer's perspective, but human error from the defendant's perspective. So in this situation, if you invoke the Fifth, so in this hypothetical, if you tell the officer you have 3 things to say, and you say, hey, officer, I want my attorney, I invoke the Fifth Amendment. Okay, what's the 3rd thing? Oh, and I just admit to the crime. You're a dumbass, and that's probably admissible. Even though you already said, I invoke the Fifth, I want my lawyer, because you pretty much voluntarily just blabbed it out. If I was stabbed, but with medical help, I would be able to survive, but I rejected medical help. Would it still be murder on part of the stabber? That is a great question, and potentially, yes, it's going to depend. It is foreseeable that if you stab someone, they are going to die. And I don't really know how to articulate this the correct way, but medical treatment would essentially be like an affirmative action, an affirmative defense to you getting stabbed. You caused the injury, the potentially deadly injury, and just because they rejected treatment doesn't necessarily mean that you're off the hook. Now, if it's really weird or breaks the causal chain of events or is so outlandish or egregious, that definitely could be a mitigating factor and even potentially, knock it down to nothing at all, but it's going to depend. Moral of the story, don't stab people. Marrying opposing counsel. Someone asked this on Twitter. This sub taught me enough to answer it depends, but I'm curious if there's any specific rules in place. If a prosecutor and a defense attorney are married, can they be on opposing sides on the same case, or is that possible collusion? So I'm going to preface this with it depends, but the ethical bones inside my body say that this is probably a conflict of interest. And I imagine if this were the case, one of these 2 individuals would need to get off the case. Skydiving accident. Would I be legally responsible if I push someone out of a plane for skydiving and then their parachute failed? Probably not. I mean, if y'all are in a plane with the intent of skydiving and everything is already on, meaning everybody's geared up, everything's ready to go, and just the parachute doesn't deploy, yeah, you might have pushed them out of the plane, but even if they would have jumped voluntarily, that parachute would have not opened. Now, obviously, if all their gear wasn't ready or wasn't properly put on, or the parachute wasn't packed in right and they were trying to fix it and you pushed them out while they were trying to fix everything, well, that's murder. But if everybody was all geared up, ready to go, jumping out of the plane, it's probably not murder. Has anyone ever been found guilty of a crime but then was not punished? Yes. Among Us in the Discord, Tom is hosting and they need people. Yes, we played Among Us yesterday. Fun fact, I'm the greatest Among Us player in the world. I didn't know Tom had an Austin branch, Little Law. We were so close to getting through this entire video without a baseless little conspiracy joke.
It's not my law firm.
You're a wizard, Tommy. Extra points if you can guess correctly whose hat it is. I have no idea whose hat that is. Asking for immunity in exchange for cooperation. Someone you know has drop kicked and kidnapped an innocent toddler. I'm not going to read this entire thing. Here's the deal. It is possible to get immunity in exchange for cooperation, but you need to know who you're dealing with. Oftentimes, the police do not have power to give you immunity. If they say they have the power to give you immunity, they can lie to you. Oftentimes, it is the prosecutorial agency that has the power to give immunity. So think the DA's office. If you're dealing with the feds, then the United States prosecutor. These are the people you're going to need to broker the deal with. And I would shut the up until you are talking to them. There's so many times where people confess to the cops because the cops say, hey, we're going to go easy on you, or hey, we're going to give you immunity if you talk. Guess what? The cops don't have authority to do that. And also, don't drop kick toddlers, okay? No. All right, y'all, that's it for today's video. I hope you liked it. I think we just passed 399,000 subscribers. We're gonna do something for the 400,000 subscribers special. It might take a week or two to complete because I'm pretty busy this upcoming week, but thank y'all so much for watching. My goal is always to make content worthy of your time. I hope this is fun and educational at the same time. And I really am thankful to everybody who's been a part of this community. As we continue to grow, we're going to have a lot more fun. All right, y'all. Talk to you later. Bye.
He's a catastrophic injury attorney who accidentally became a YouTuber. Attorney Tom.